Hello everyone. Today is June 19th. I just wanted to bring you guys along for another update in the garden. We just put down some fresh compost. Everything's growing in nicely. Tomorrow I'm going to be seeding some more flowers and a few other vegetables. But I just wanted to bring you in for another update. You can see along the edge, we've got lots of zinnias germinating. Same thing on this side, but I'm not sure how clear you can see that. And then I want to bring you in close to each tomato plant. This little guy is really struggling. I think he got over fertilized, but he was also pretty root bound. So he also has a little bit of transplant shock. A lot of his leaves had a lot of blight looking damage, so I removed those. Here we have a Beefsteak on the right and then a Japanese black Trifele on the left. We've got a baby boomer on the left there, and then this was a clone from one of my tomatoes in a container. I'm not sure if it was the big boy or the Beefsteak. Here we have our two evergreens and a marigold. Here we've got our zinnias. Here we have two more Japanese black Trifele with some kale. Here on the right we have a Gardener's Delight, and on the left we have a Sweetie cherry tomato. Some more zinnias popping up. Nasturtium. Here we have a Great White. That one's got quite a few blossoms popping up. This is a Bushsteak. This is a dwarf variety, and it's got quite a few fruit set on this guy. Here's another one that's really struggling that I think got over fertilized and was also pretty root bound and has a little bit of transplant shock. This one's a large red cherry. And then over here we have a yellow pear. It's got lots of blossoms on this one as well. And we've got some zinnias that's germinated, and then this guy over here looks like we have something nibbling on it. Gonna have to check that plant out. Here is the only basil I have right now. That's something else I'm gonna be direct sowing tomorrow. Nasturtium. This guy I had labeled as a Supersweet. Today I noticed that when I really got to looking at my plants, there are several that are labeled, well, not several, but a couple that are labeled as one thing, but when I got looking, they aren't. And I know what happened. There were a few times that I had my seedlings sitting outside to get some extra sun because I didn't have the best grow lights, and I could tell something had roughed up the soil. I'm pretty sure it was birds, and they caused some of the seeds, I think, to land in like the pot next to it, because I have, like, this one is labeled as Supersweet, and I have another one labeled as a Beefmaster over here. I'll show you, and I can already tell it's a yellow pear. I could tell by the size of these blossoms as soon as I seen them that it wasn't a Supersweet. But then also I noticed this tomato down here is not a little cherry tomato. This next one here is a triple crop. This is the first year for me to grow this one. These are supposed to get really big. This is a potato leaf tomato. Their leaves are shaped a little bit like potato leaves. This one here is an old German. It's just now starting to blossom. And then this one here is my Wapsipinocin Peach. I'm hoping it's actually a Wapsipinocin Peach because I was really looking forward to this one this year. Here we've got some nasturtiums that have just bloomed. Some more zinnias. And I don't think I showed you, did I skip this one? I've got that zinnia there, and then we've got a great white right here. Next to this Bushsteak. I'm not sure if I said great white or not. I don't recall saying that. So if I didn't, that's what this guy is. And then here's some more zinnias. Marigold. Since I topped that one off, it is bushed out so nice. Now here's the one that I had labeled Beefmaster. I think I said Beefsteak, but it's labeled Beefmaster, and as you can see, if I can get it to zoom in, those are pear shaped, and I don't have any red pear, so I know it's the yellow pear. Zinnia is looking nice. Lettuce is still doing great. It's really dirty because we just layered in all this extra compost. Here we have a super beefsteak. This one had a couple blossoms setting, but I pinched those off because I wanted it to focus on growing a little bit larger, and it's gotten a lot larger since I did that. Here we've got some more zinnias. There's one super red romaine back there. And then here we have, I believe this is the beefsteak. Some more kale and lettuce. Sorry for the shaky camera. I'm standing on this huge pile of compost. I'm doing the best I can without falling. Alright, so now I have, this guy over here is a big boy. No, it's not. Okay, so now that I'm looking at these tomatoes back here, wonder if this is a Supersweet, and the one labeled Supersweet is a big boy. Wonder if I just mix those labels up. But then, how would I have mixed up the yellow pear with the Beefmaster? Because I don't have any yellow pear that looks like a Beefmaster. Maybe the birds just mixed those seeds up, and this one just got labeled. Labels mismatched. Don't know. But honestly, as long as we have produce, it's not a huge deal. The only reason I really wanted to make sure I had them labeled correctly is because I was thinking about trying to do a cross-pollination with a few, just to try it. Like, I've never done it before. Thought it would be fun to try. Not a huge deal otherwise. Here we've got a marigold. This one's not looking as good as the one on the right, but it's still doing all right. And then a couple of lettuce that I just transplanted. Some more zinnias, and then some more nasturtiums blooming. Now, I don't have my mess cleaned up from planting all the morning glory and sweet potatoes, but I'm still going to give you a walkthrough of this bed. To make it a little bit easier, I'm going to go around and just show you all the flowers and things on the perimeter, and then I'm going to come back down the center instead of going back and forth to the left and the right. Here we've got a zinnia, tomato. Here's a baby boo I just transplanted last night. And then our mini, another marigold that isn't doing as well. Not sure why. Then the sweet potatoes and morning glory I just transplanted. More zinnias. Our white bush scallop squash. Here's another zinnia, and then we have our volunteer cucumbers. There's some on both sides of the fence. I just stuck this stake in where we have the volunteer cucumbers at because my son walks around the outer edge and I didn't want him to accidentally step on it. This guy I showed you in, I believe it was our last video, but I wanted to show you guys this again. I don't know what is going on with these side sheets that are trying to come up, like right here on either side there. I think it's confused. Here we have another volunteer cucumber. I need to get another stake over there. Another zinnia that is not really loving its life. And another cucumber. Here we have our hearts of gold, cantaloupe, beginning to blossom. Our Haley's Best. And we've got our bush sugar baby. These have put on a lot of growth. It's starting to flower as well. And then we have this Jubilee. It's actually two Jubilees. And then our Crimson Sweet. I also wanted to bring you guys in close to show you what I'm doing with these Morning Glory to try to help them train up this arbor. So whenever I had them like in the trays, like before I planted them in the ground, they were starting to turn around and climb back up themselves. So some of them are a little bit like so turned around it's hard to get them to like try to go back straight again. So I'm just kind of like letting those like just chill and find their way, and maybe they will just come up this chicken wire. But the ones that aren't doing that, I've just twisted them around and up through the chicken wire on this side, and then I can like let it come back out and go back up this once it gets taller. So if it needs to, it can come up this chicken wire, and then once it gets tall enough, I can get it to start training up. Because it's kind of hard to just get it to like kind of grab on to something that's like so slick and, you know, flat. But since this has holes, you can kind of weave it in and out. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already.